The KZN Education Department has an important message for the provinces and the country's matriculants. Just say no to pens down parties. For many matrics, their school career is now coming to an end, and the department is worried that they are engaging in the type of fun that could lead to tragedy, as has been seen in other post-matric party tragedies, like what transpired at the Enyobeni tavern, where 21 teens died. Muzi Mahlambi, spokesperson for the KZN Education Department, joins us now. Good evening to you, Muzi, and welcome. You know, we think about matrics, this build-up throughout the entire year to the end of this milestone moment. They've been burning, hopefully, the midnight oil at both ends. And so there's this need to kind of let off some steam, but you're really worried about how they are letting off the steam. Share your message with our viewers.
Good evening and evening to our viewers. Yeah, we issued a statement by the MEC this morning to say she congratulates them for having come thus far with the examination. We know that exams finishes next week on the 6th, but the big paper was written this morning, which is English, which sees a lot of them being their last paper for the year. But then she calls upon them to desist from joining these pens down parties, which from time to time we have seen how dangerous they are. This class of 2023, they are doing matric for the first time, but we've been around, and each time they attend these parties, there is something that happens which endangers them in terms of them taking drugs in these parties, in terms of some of them being raped, the shooting. There's all sorts of dangers that we will want them to stay away from as learners. And we have seen something painful that come January, when results are out, some of them are no more in terms of being with us. They've passed on during the time of those parties and stuff like that. So we don't want to have a repeat of that.
Can you give us, some statistics of how this has impacted or played itself out in KwaZulu-Natal?
More especially, there is another one that they normally have, which they call the rage party or what, that the entire country descends to the province for such a party. It stretches over the weekend. And what we have seen and experienced is that there is a high consumption of alcohol and drugs in these parties, such that some will then go out and spin cars, some will be reckless on the road, and police have a field day in terms of dealing with some of the practices that normally emanate from such parties.
Yeah. The reason I was asking for the numbers and what you're sharing is really cause for concern. This kind of reckless behavior is happening. It's not only dangerous for the individual, but dangerous for other people, road users, and the community at large. Has there been, a real study, a deep dive into some of these behaviors and some of the effects in the province that you can share the results of with us?
It's a big thing that they organize, because we're told that organizers, they start even recruiting these learners from grade 11, and parents allude into this kind of parties to say, because they want their children to enjoy after a stressful kind of a period of writing exams. But not knowing what is it that they are releasing their learners, their children into.
Yeah, well, hopefully next time we speak, we'll be able to have just that sort of scientific picture of how often these are happening, what types of incidences, which are more prevalent than others, what areas, which demographics, what is enabling this to happen, because that will allow us to diagnose the problem in a way that allows us to provide solutions that talk to those problems. But it is, as you say, especially anecdotal. Anecdotally, it is a problem that exists. If you're saying don't go to these parties, a number of things have to happen. Where do young people go to let off steam? They want to let off steam. They will let off steam. Are there activities that the KwaZulu-Natal province has laid on as an alternative to these parties?
Yeah, it's a very good question that you are asking in terms of other recreative alternatives that learners can engage themselves into. And one simple thing that we were also requesting them to start to teach them to be responsible is for them not to damage their uniforms, but rather donate their uniforms to their respective schools so that other learners who are in need of such a uniform can benefit from such. But you are raising a very good question to then say, is a party the only the thing that learners can then say, this is how we are resting from a stressful period of writing exams?
Okay. I mean, look, yes, of course, honourable suggestion and request to make of the matrics to donate those uniforms. But again, we do need that information on, what can we do? We can issue a message, but we've got to have a solution or an alternative that we can provide in the vacuum that will be left by what do kids do. And the other thing, Muzi, of course, is the importance of bringing in all of the stakeholders, the community and the parents, the awareness around what's been happening and what children are getting up to. So hopefully the next time we have this conversation, we can have a statistical review of what's happening in the province, particularly the impact of outside events on the social scene in Durban, the dangers associated with them, and the alternatives that the city can actually lay on as safe spaces for our matrics or even young people in general to be a part of and to partake in. Thank you for your time tonight. We appreciate it. Muzi Mahlambi is the spokesperson of the KwaZulu-Natal Education Department. We will take a look at the latest headlines.